Welcome back to Medora Minutes, a Bible study designed to help you start your week with the Lord and in His Word. We have a rather long passage to look at this week. It's from Genesis 42, verse 6 to 44, verse 34. A lot is going on. Joseph has 7 years of plenty, and then he begins the 7 years of famine. He is remarkably free from revenge. He is in a position that he could have attacked Potiphar, that he worked for, and especially his wife that sent him to prison. He could have attacked the people in prison who mistreated him. He could have attacked the slave traders who brought him to Egypt in the first place. But I see no evidence that any of that happened. It brings to mind a passage of Scripture that we find in 2 places, one in the Old Testament and then again in the New Testament. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 35, vengeance is mine and recompense. That means God's paying it back. Vengeance is mine and recompense, their foot shall slip in due time. That's an interesting promise. It's repeated in Romans Chapter 12, verse 19, Dearly beloved, avenge not yourself, but rather give place unto wrath. God is saying, don't take the revenge into your own hands, but let Him do it. Back off. Give place for God's wrath to take place. It is written, Romans 12:19 continues, For it is written, Vengeance is mine, I will repay. Do you want to see how this works out in Joseph's life? You see, it was Judah who, in an attempt to save Joseph's life, Judah made the decision to sell Joseph into slavery. Saved his life, yes, but condemned him to a future of slavery and prison. How did that work out for Judah? Take a good look at the entire chapter of Genesis 37, and you can see the chaos that Judah lived with while Joseph was suffering under the decisions that he made. My friends, if you are working for the Lord, if you are doing what is right, and there are those who bring evil against you, particularly falsely, your best attitude is one of pity, because God says vengeance belongs to Him, and then the promise is He will repay. By getting rid of any intent for vengeance, Joseph's desk was clear. He was remarkably effective. We even see archaeological evidence of Joseph's work in enormous granaries in Egypt yet today. We'll look some more about what forgiveness looks like next week. But I want you to take a look at Matthew 10, verse 16. This is Jesus getting ready to send His disciples out on a preaching tour. And He says something very interesting. Behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. They're going to have trouble. And then He gives them this instruction. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. When Joseph's brothers came to Egypt looking for food, the entire idea of vengeance, I believe, was gone from Joseph's mind, because he had already practiced it with others that he could have taken vengeance off right there in Egypt. It cleared the way for Joseph to proceed to the next step, and that was to put his brothers through a series of tests to see what their attitude really was. Were they ready to accept forgiveness? Were they ready to accept Joseph again as their brother? Were they ready to work with him for the greater good? As we go through life, we are going to have troubles. I would encourage you, just the same as Jesus said, I would repeat his command, be ye therefore wise as a serpent, but harmless as a dove. I'd encourage you to meditate on this over this next week. Again, our passage of Scripture, very long one, Genesis 42, verse 6, through Genesis 44, verse 34. We took a look at Deuteronomy 32:35, Romans 12:19, and then Matthew 10:16. We'll take a look some more at forgiveness next week. God willing, we'll talk then. Thank you for listening.